Hello, my name is Rockson Ankomah. Today too is another day blessed, and we have Leviticus 4.
And again, and the Lord speak unto them, saying, If a soul ignorance against commandments of the Lord, which ought not to be done, any of them, the priest that is anointed into the sin of the people, bring forth his sin, send a young bullock unto the Lord for a sin offering, and he shall bring the bullock unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation before the Lord, and shall lay his hand upon the bullock's head and kill the bullock before the Lord. And the priest that is anointed shall take of the bullock's blood and bring it to the tabernacle of the congregation. And the priest shall dip his finger into the blood and sprinkle of the blood 7 times before the Lord, before the veil of the sanctuary. And the priest shall put some of the blood upon the horns of the altar of sweet incense before the Lord, which is in the tabernacle of the congregation, and shall pour all the blood of the bullock at the bottom of the altar of the burnt offering, which is at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And he shall take off from it all the fat of the bullock for the sins offering, the fat that covered the inwards, and all the fat that is upon the inwards, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is upon them, which is by the flanks, and the caul above the liver. With the kidneys shall he take away, as it was taken off from the bullock of the sacrifice of peace offering, and the priest shall burn them upon the altar of the burnt offering. And the skin of the bullock and all his flesh, with his head and with his legs and his inward and his tongue, even the whole bullock shall he carry forth without the camp unto a clean place, where the ashes are poured out and burned in on the wood with fire. Where the ashes are poured out shall he be burnt. And if the whole congregation of Israel sin through ignorance, and the thing be hid from the eyes of the assembly, and they have done somewhat against any of the commandment of the Lord concerning things which should not be done, and are guilty. When the sin which they have sinned against it is known, then the congregation shall offer a bullock, a young bullock for the sin, and bring him before the tabernacle of the congregation. And the elders of the congregation shall lay their hands upon the heads of the bullock before the Lord, and the bullock shall be killed before the Lord. And the priest that is anointed shall bring of the bullock's blood to the tabernacle of the congregation. And the priest shall dip his finger in some of the blood and sprinkle it 7 times before the Lord, even before the veil. And he shall put some of the blood upon the horns of the altar, which is before the Lord, that is in the tabernacle of the congregation, and shall pour out all the blood as the bottom of the altar of the burnt offering which is at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And he shall take all his fat from him and burn it upon the altar. Since offering, so shall he do with this, and the priest shall make an atonement for them, and he shall be forgiven them. And he shall carry forth the bullock without the camp, and burn him as he burned the first bullock. It is a sin offering for the congregation. When a ruler has sinned and done somewhat through ignorance against any of the commandments of the Lord his God concerning things which should not be done, and is guilty of it, his sin where he had sinned come to his knowledge, he shall bring his offering, a kid of the goats, and a male without blemish. And he shall lay his hands upon the heads of the goats and kill it in the place where they kill the burnt offering before the Lord. It is a sin offering, and the priest shall take of the blood of the sin offering with his finger, and put it upon the horns of the altar of burnt offering, and shall pour out his blood at the bottom of the altar of burnt offering. And he shall burn all his fat upon the altar, as the fat of the sacrifice of peace offering. The priest shall make an atonement for him as concerning his sin, and it shall be forgiven him. And if any of the common people sin through ignorance, why he does somewhat against any of the commandment of the Lord concerning things which ought not to be done, and be guilty, or if his sin which he has sinned come to his knowledge, then he shall bring his offering, a kid of the goat, the female without blemish, for his sins which he has sinned, and he shall lay his hands upon the head of his sin offering, and slay the sin offering in the place of the burnt offering. And the priest shall take of the blood thereof with his finger, and put it upon the horns of the altar of burnt offering, and shall pour out all the blood thereof at the bottom of the altar. And he shall take away all the fat thereof, as the fat is taken away from all the sacrifice of peace offering, and the priest shall burn it upon the altar for a sweet savour unto the Lord. And the priest shall make atonement for him, and shall be forgiven. And if he bring a lamb for a sin offering, he shall bring it a female without blemish. And he shall lay his hands upon the heads of the sin offering, and slay it for a sin offering in the place where they kill the burnt offering. And the priest shall take off the blood of the sin offering with his finger, and put it upon the horns of the altar of burnt offering, and shall pour out all the blood thereof at the bottom of the altar. And he shall take away all the fat thereof, as the fat of the lamb is taken away from the sacrifice of the peace offering, and the priest shall burn them upon the altar according to the offering made by fire unto the Lord. And the priest shall make an atonement for his sin that he has committed, and shall be forgiven him. And this is the end of the lesson, and we'll continue with another lesson. My name is Rockson Ankomah. My name is Gwegu. So we continue, right?